Hello and welcome to Talks, our first Talks of the year. I'm Kimberley Dondo and I'm joined by
Tom Browne, editor of Money Marketing.
And Dan Cooper, news editor at Money Marketing.
Great. Thank you guys for joining me in this new year. Exciting things to come. People have already deemed 2026 the new 2016.
Oh.
I think people have fond memories of 2016,
Do they?
even though
What was fond about that?
as in personal, like I think it was the
see.
last fun year for a lot of
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
But it was also the beginning of our darkest timeline.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 years of darkness for marketing this year. Brilliant.
That's a nice one to
Well,
start
yeah,
off.
yeah. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
It could be the way to like it bookmarks, that period of time. But we're here to talk about money marketing and what we're doing at Money Marketing. So I guess to start off, we can talk about Mamadou's big picture, advisor as platform, I think.
Correct,
Yeah.
So,
So what can you guys tell me about it?
yeah, I think the general crux of Momo's piece that he was looking into is there's been a lot of problems with third-party platforms over the last few years. We've seen like service levels continuously drop. I think it's something like 95% of advisors being forced to apologise for poor platform service that's kind of not on them, but is on them because they have to communicate it. So, there was this temptation, I think, by a lot to take it in-house and to create their own platform, which sounds appealing because of the problems I've just mentioned.
Yeah.
But, obviously then you take it in-house and it creates its own problems. So you've got the governance issues, you've got the compliance issues, you've got potentially not having the right talent in-house to run that platform effectively. So that's Mamadou's piece was looking at, those issues of taking it in-house. Is that the best way? It might seem like it, but a lot of firms quickly realise that actually they are better outsourcing it, even though it can lead to complaints.
Yeah.
That was the crux of
and it's well expressed because it as Dan says, it sounds like a good solution, but it's the classic idea of you have control over something, but if you control means essentially you inherit all the risk rather than eliminating it, and it becomes your problem rather than other people's. And in practice, it drags advisors into this kind of whole issue of platform governance and service resilience and what have you. And it's a question of like how many firms really kind of underestimated the operational load that this would involve. And I suppose there's also the whole issue of private equity capital accelerating the trend. I mean, we've talked previously about sort of the impact of private equity on the advice space, for ages at Money Marketing. But I suppose it's a question of like slightly mismatched incentives. You have this investor logic of like pushing scale and integration, but versus the advisorality, which is about service delivery and trust and regulatory accountability. And if advisors are having to apologise all the time about these things, then where does that leave advisor-client relationships and all the implications for consumer duty as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting point about the private equity as well, because a lot of the backers want to see results. They want to see scale, they want to see growth, they want to see them achieve what they set out to achieve.
Yeah.
And if there might be that temptation to we'll just take it in house because it will save us some money.
Will it though? That's
what
what
I mean.
I was going to ask
that's
initially, because like the cost of creating your own platform, I would think, is quite high, and also maintaining it, having enough staff on site to continuously monitor it and make sure that it's up and running, so you don't have those issues that you're trying to run away from. Is it more cost effective? I don't know.
No,
I don't think
it.
So,
I don't think
no.
so. No, I mean, obviously, I've never been on the platform side, as in part of a company that's re-platforming. But the general consensus is that it doesn't really save money, and like we were saying, with all the additional risk and everything else, is it actually worth it? Probably not. So it's not, Mamadou in his piece isn't saying that Advisor as platform is dead. But on the other hand, the whole model is kind of being reassessed. So it's just being looked at as a whole to see, well, okay, yes, it might work for some. It might work for some of the larger institutions who've got a bit more resource.
Yeah.
But for a lot of advice firms, it probably is just best to stick with
outsourcing.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's the old phrase that we've learned a hell of a lesson, and it'll do us a hell of a lot of good. In the longer term. It's a sort of as that line in This Is Spinal Tap. We're not becoming less popular. Our appeal is becoming more selective. It's the idea, I suppose, that nowadays, the interesting conclusion isn't that the advisor of platform has failed altogether. It's much more as a question of, if the pendulum swings too far one way and then it swings back, what's the happy medium that, in terms of hybrid models, platform panels, deeper partnerships, they're learning exactly where that ownership generally does add value and where it just adds risk. So it was a very interesting topic to explore. We should say about Mamadou on a personal note that he's just had a baby.
He has.
So he was grappling with all of these technical advisor platform stuff at the same time as his child was arriving. And, good on him for
juggling both.
juggling both. Yeah.
Wow. I personally can't imagine doing both, but he did a great job.
He did a job. Very, very cute baby too.
Yes.
Very sweet.
So very cute platform.
A very cute
that too.
And a very cute big picture.
Congratulations, Momo. Yeah,
Congratulations.
It's great news.
So moving on to your behind the headlines, Dan, which I personally loved because the headline.
Thank you.
Honestly, I'm already saying top contender headline of the year, and I'm going to let you say the headline.
I remember it now. Oh, yes.
Don't say it can't have been that good.
It was Trump has his hands on Caracas.
Trump is shaking Caracas.
Shaking Caracas, but the markets aren't moving to the beat.
And you said, I've got a great headline. And I said, what's the rest of the article about? I was like, well, don't worry about that.
Start with the headline.
And honestly, I think that's where the best ideas
nailed the
start.
Intro, exactly. Yeah. I thought about it on the train back from London Bridge. I was like,
that's right.
And
our best ideas.
I came in and told you straight away, and no, I was quite pleased with that headline. I hope people got it. Made the association between maracas and Caracas, and if they didn't, it's completely failed.
No, I'm sure everyone. We can ask a poll, but regardless.
I hope so. But yeah, so
what was the article about?
I'll get onto that. So it was just to look at we had so much geopolitical uncertainty in 2025, and you thought, it can't get much worse. And then 3 days in, sure as it did. And I think maybe people were hoping for a little bit of calm, and Trump, in true Trump style, had other ideas. And I think it was the 3rd of January, he decided to launch out quite astonishing kind of overnight
kidnapping.
Raid on Maduro and his wife, and obviously then brought them back to the US, which was I mean, I didn't think anything would surprise me with Trump, and he just keeps on delivering. So just despite that, the piece that I wrote, but behind the headlines, was that I don't know if it's because people are becoming so almost used to Trump's unpredictability, or whether it's just because Venezuela wasn't the force it was of old in terms of oil. But it barely made a ripple in the markets. Which I found surprising. I know you've got all of these bumps along the road, and it's timing in the market rather than timing the market. So yes, on a long term look at things, and it's probably fine, but this barely made a ripple. And but then my argument was looking ahead. What else is going to be in store for 2026 with Trump and everything else? I mean, he hasn't ruled out. Well, as we speak, he's actively trying to get Greenland, which did cause the markets to mainly the tariffs that he's threatening again. Tariff Gate 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be very interesting, this whole sort of like basic theme about what actually moves markets now.
Yeah.
And as you say, the year started with this Venezuela raid. And as we're recording now, this is the 20th of January we're recording. This is all in the news. Davos has just started, and all the discussion around that has been Trump's threatened tariffs in retaliation to the EU and Britain, for some reason, objecting to the idea that a NATO member might invade another NATO member. And this theme about what geopolitical shocks will actually move the market or move investors is one that could well be tested to destruction in the weeks, months, and years ahead. And it's very much a wait and see moment, but potentially very worrying.
Yeah, and it's.
I also think there's potential that maybe people, maybe there isn't so much of a movement in the market because of Trump's nickname on Wall Street, which is Taco, which
Trump
is
always chickens out.
exactly.
I bet he doesn't like that nickname.
He does not. He
I
hates
bet.
it. But I think they brought it up to him and like in one of his interviews, and he was like, "No, I don't." He always gets very petulant. But
Doesn't sound like Trump at all.
But yeah, I think maybe that's why now people have more of a wait and see. What's the follow through going to be? I think with Venezuela as well, the markets were more like, well, the infrastructure isn't there for them to get the oil. The type of oil that Venezuela has might not be what we are all currently using. So no one was clamoring to, and also none of the big oil companies are also clamoring to do anything about it. So again, it is kind of a wait and see situation.
It is definitely, because they say with Tom said, Greenland, and then he's Mexico's not out of the equation yet. You still got the is it Colombia as well? I think he
mentioned
didn't rule out
Nigeria.
Same kind
he
of,
also has his eye on.
I mean, he joked about Canada being the 51st state at one point or another. I'm not ruling out him dusting that one off as well, in the future. Because everyone thought he was joking about Greenland a few months ago.
And he's being very aggressive.
He does seem quite serious about it.
Yeah.
He does.
But
his email to
Norway?
To Norway's PM, which was unveiled under a FOI Act request, I think.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, "Oh, I didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize, so I'm not really bothered about peace anymore." It's like, it sounded like a petulant child kind of.
I was listening to a podcast this morning where people were saying we thought that was a spoof initially,
yeah,
and then we looked it up, and it's actually true.
Yeah.
It is extraordinary. I mean, we could fill a podcast with just slack-jawed incredulity of things that Donald Trump has said and done, but it will be very interesting. I mean, we were talking about this earlier in a features meeting about sort of like defence stocks as well, them continuing to surge, and the uncomfortable question, the kind of morally awkward corner of portfolios, or just, is this just the way the world is now, and the implications for more ethical investments or ESG or things like that. I mean, these are all things you have to throw into the mix as well.
Yeah.
But
well, that's why I'm writing a weekend essay on
which we wait with bated breath.
We do.
Yeah.
It's also be interesting to see what effect it has on around the world in terms of the dollar and emerging markets, because that's
Well, a year is a long time in geopolitics as well. I mean, he's been in. We are celebrating. I was about to say we are marking essentially the first anniversary of his taking power, and it feels like a lot longer than a year.
It does.
And we have 3 to go. So
who knows?
It's not going to be.
But there was a lot of volatility in his first term as well. So
yeah, I think the first term was much more. He didn't really have a sort of a sense of mission or what he wanted to do, and he was a lot more constrained, it seemed to me, by the people around him and by the institutions. And this time round, the institutions are either cowed, or the people around him are handpicked people who, if anything, seem a bit more unhinged than he is.
Yes.
But so
that's the thought.
I don't. Yeah.
On a lighter note and a more local note, Amanda wrote a starting out piece on virtual work experience.
Yeah.
So is it a positive? Is it something that you can have on your CV? Do you think it's something, the way we're moving in the future, because we are becoming so digital and virtual?
Yeah, it's an extension of the debate we've had loads about remote working or hybrid working, or the difference between the sort of face-to-face experience and the digital experience. I mean, it's something that was sort of born out of necessity during the pandemic, as we all know, but more and more has become a bit of a sort of a permanent fixture. And the piece was kind of trying to sort of weigh up whether that really helps sort of young people understand the profession, or does it become a sort of diluted version of the real thing, or is it a useful entry point? It's an interesting one, because we're very interested in young people coming into the profession, and the potential barriers for entry, or the the lack of awareness or what have you, and the experience you offer young people, or the pathways you offer young people, are something that all advice firms should be aware of. And I think she doesn't massively sort of like come down sort of hard one way or the other, but it is a question of, it is definitely a question of visibility, and only a minority of students actually get in-person placements now. And is that a question of, okay, well, digital has broadened the access, but has it done that at the price of diluting the experience, and will that have a more negative or positive effect in the longer run?
Yeah, it's a strange one. I'm on the fence about it as well, because as you rightly said, it does increase access, which is a good thing. But yeah, it's just not like Zoom calls, as we found out during COVID. It's not quite the same.
No.
You don't get that real life experience, I don't think, over a virtual.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that. And I don't want to be one of those people who's attacking the generation below me, as I experienced as a millennial.
we do, don't worry.
I do feel like Gen Z does have like an issue with social interaction, and that's because unfortunately for them, a lot of their formative years was during COVID, and I feel like that has had a big effect on them, where that's why they prefer a lot of digital relationships or work,
and working from home and stuff,
and working from home. And I understand the benefits of working from home. I don't disagree with them, but I do also think that it's very important to be in an office, and not necessarily an office environment, but be around the team that you're working with, because you build that relationship with your team members, and also you understand how to socially interact with people, and then you're not online saying I hate people and I only like dogs and cats. So I don't know. I think it's just, I think there is a balance to be had, and I think it is beneficial to have physical work experience for sure.
Too much isolation, I think,
is negative.
Some people, yes, maybe they thrive on it, but I think we are, generally speaking, humans are social creatures, and I think too much isolation, not enough contact isn't great for the mind.
But I think, in terms just of to join Dan on the fence for a second here, I think that I do think there are. I mean, you don't necessarily want to make the best the enemy of the good. At the end of the day, work experience is quite a big commitment for, I mean, even just, my own experience of work experience, if you're organising it as an in-person thing, it does take quite a lot of organisation if you are going to make it a meaningful thing. It's one thing getting people in and sort of say, oh, we'll do some filing or what have you. But if you want to try and give them a genuine taste of what this workplace is like, you do have to spend quite a bit of time organising it, oversight, feeding back, all of those kinds of things. And if people are reluctant to do that, in the advice space, then it means the profession will continue to be invisible. Whereas if you can scale it and at least give people a taster of it, and then maybe you can, within that experience, give them an idea of what advice is like, and maybe bust some of the myths that stop people from going, like it's all about spreadsheets or something. So in a way, maybe that is yes, you're not giving them the full experience. Yes, it might not be as good as in person, but at least it is something, and maybe that can do something to
then
close
get them
the
to a
advisor gap.
position.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, moving on to our next section where we're talking in the spotlight, and we're talking about the AI bubble and whether it's going to burst.
Yes.
Small caps. We don't know.
We don't know.
It's all it takes is one person with a needle just to pop it, apparently. So we don't know.
We don't know, but I think we are planning sort of like a wider piece on this sort of in the future about, well, what are the warning signs? And just because a bubble bursts doesn't mean the technology goes away.
No.
I mean, we'll be living with AI, from now on, and it's and in the same way that the dot-com bubble burst, it didn't get rid of the internet.
No.
It just came back, and it's a question of where does the market find its sweet spot, its equilibrium, clear out the sort of like the overvalued chances, or I certainly think the amount of money that's been ploughed into it, at the moment is probably not sustainable given the sort of like, the balance between investment and return.
Yeah.
A lot of people have talked about that. But so much is invested in AI and big tech. We were talking about this the other day, that if you look at any discussion, AI is touted as the solution to just every problem in terms of economic growth, the lack of productivity gaps, efficiency, scaling. AI is thrown in there all the time. It's like people are waiting for AI to rescue them from
I no longer have to work.
And if that goes away, then where does the conversation go next? So I kind of feel that energy and that commitment will lead somewhere.
Yeah.
But there's bound to be a blip on the road at some point.
I find it interesting that even the founder, CEO, Sam Altman, even said that he thinks investors are overexcited.
Yeah, he said it to a group of reporters.
Yeah, it was like,
By the way, this is off the record.
Yeah.
Because they have they jumped from, I think, 124 billion valuation in 2024 to 500 billion in 2025, because a bunch of tech companies have been just funneling money into OpenAI. But for Sam, he's like, great, now we can build more infrastructure so that we can have more data centers to build out. But in reality, the profits of OpenAI are quite small. There's no real return on investment apart from more people using it, I guess. But I don't know how many people have paid for their more advanced version of ChatGPT. And even if they do, will that be enough of a profit to cover the 500 billion?
Yeah, the money that's gone into it is just insane. And like as Tom said, that's over the last, I don't know, 10 years particularly, we've just seen them grow exponentially. All of these, the Mag 7 and other AI companies, the growth's been crazy. And at some point, that has to kind of plateau. You would think.
But then I suppose there's the whole infrastructure around AI that supports AI.
Yeah.
Like energy sources, for example, or other parts of the sort of tech ecosystem that are going to require investment. That even if the end product, this particular AI tool, is overvalued, a lot of the stuff that surrounds it, are still good investments to sort of have, and those will come back in one form or another. So I think it's a bit like a game of musical chairs. It's always the case when there's a bubble, you don't want to be the one left standing when the music stops.
Yeah.
And it's all about confidence and knowing when that music might stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't.
And also all of this talk of the AI bubble and all of the geopolitical stuff we mentioned before, it's kind of, I feel like that has pushed a lot of money out of the US into emerging markets.
Yes.
A lot of the Asian countries they are big producers of, like Tom said, some of the infrastructure, chips, for example, like Taiwan. I think it's 80% of all the AI chips
come from Taiwan.
Exactly. So it'd be interesting to see this AI bubble, if it does burst, what knock-on impact that has.
Yeah, because there was a was it last year? I think it was last year when DeepSeek was accessible and people saw, and then it was released that they used old NVIDIA chips, and they were able to create their AI for half the price, and that kind of shook the market a little bit.
It was a very short-term blip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a bit of a sort of one-week wonder, that story.
Yeah.
And then it faded away again.
Yeah.
It's huge impact on the market at the time, but yeah, like you said, quite short-term.
Yeah. But then you wonder if there's going to be other companies who will be like, we made this for
another DeepSeek.
Yeah,
exactly.
We don't need to be valued at 500 billion. We're still as effective, if not more effective, without needing so much investment. So, yeah.
Well, given the amount of money that's going into it, you think that's probably inevitable that will happen at some point or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. That issue about Taiwan and the semiconductor chips, by the way, there's a wonderful book, a terrifying book called Chip War, which is all about, the development of computer chips and why Taiwan came to sort of corner this market, and why it's the ultimate all eggs in one basket scenario, which is so terrifying, particularly when you consider, the threatening noises China has made in the past on that territory. It's a good sleepless night book, that one. If you have,
I've had enough of those. I don't need any more.
Yeah.
If you're sleeping too easily, Dan, which I know you are, I'll lend you this book.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We all want escapism now. We don't want realism. At least that's my aim for 2026.
Very good.
Yeah. So I guess to wrap up, let's look at the rest of the year ahead. And maybe look on a more personal note, or maybe from money marketing as a whole, as a team, what are our resolutions?
Oh,
predictions maybe as well. Yeah.
Predictions.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do professional, and then I'll do sort of like personal, maybe resolutions in both.
Glad you're going first on this one.
You're like, let me think let me cook.
Dan. I think predictions, there's going to be a lot of movement on pensions. I've just shot your fox down. Because we know that, again, we were talking about sort of ideas ahead. There's a huge amount of movement in the pension space this year. And it will be very, very interesting to see how that shakes out. Be it the Mansion House Accord, being the pensions bill, being the pension dashboard, implications of IHT on inherited pensions. There's a lot to chew over here, and I certainly think we'll be doing a deep dive on that on some point or another. So keep an eye on pensions would be my advice. My professional New Year's resolution would be to focus more on the things that are important. I say this every year. There's so much noise in this space, and in journalism in general. It's trying to, as much as possible, keep your eye on what is clear and not get cluttered. And in terms of my personal life, not have lots of things happening at once.
Okay, with 2 kids.
Well, with 2 kids.
Under 2.
Not have another child. We're definitely not doing that this year. And not having my roof and loft demolished at the same time as trying to deal with a newborn. That would be a
crazy
good start.
timing.
And actually go on holiday sometime. I didn't really get on holiday last year very much, so I'd like to. It'd be nice to go away.
Yeah, do that before they get into school proper.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
About you, Dan?
How do I follow that? That's great. I think from a money marketing advice sector point of view, regulation. It's always going to be big on, but I think alongside pensions, the FCA have got this real focus on digital going forward. We were talking about digital earlier with virtual work experience.
Yeah.
We've got the crypto stuff bubbling around in the background. We've got stablecoin. We've got tokenization. The FCA wants to be a world leader in tokenization in 2026. So there's all of these different digital initiatives from the FCA, which I think will really kind of change the regulatory landscape. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my thing to keep an eye on for 2026. From a professional point of view, Tom will back me up on this one, is to be more organised at work. So I've got some tricks and tips from Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Another difficult thing to say. And yeah, organisation is not my strong point, which as news editor is interesting. I have lots of things in my head, and I remember most of them, but I've realised now I have to write everything down.
Yeah,
like everything, and then plan it across my week.
Yeah,
and it's such an effective way of doing it, and I feel slightly less stressed.
Feel zen now.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I feel more zen than normal.
Okay.
Which leads me on to my personal one, which is just to be, try and be as happy and content as possible with the things I have, which is similar to Tom. It was initially going to be dry January.
Yeah.
And then I went to the pub to watch.
Like on the 1st of Jan.
I went to the pub.
That was an error.
Well, I went to the pub to go and watch the Fulham-Liverpool game. I'm a Fulham fan.
Oh, no. And they were losing?
No, they're actually winning.
Oh, okay.
But I got
then
it.
you have to celebrate.
But it's like my brain went into autopilot. That's quite bad. Like, I was in a pub and I just forgot, basically, like 4 days into January.
Yeah.
I kind of, I'll have a pint, please. And I sat there and had half my pint. And then it's like,
no.
I've just remembered, and I was like, oh, well, there's no point now. So I finished the rest of the pint and then had 2 more.
Yeah.
And then I've given up on dry January.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Moderate January.
Yeah. Moderate January. That's just little and often.
Yeah.
Just. So yeah. It's just ready to be just a bit more happy in myself and life in general.
Good. I think for me, what to look out for. I mean, I'm working across a couple of different brands, so there's a lot of things I need to monitor. So I think I'm going to focus more on my professional things, which is to probably be better organized about that. I do have a calendar where I just tell myself to do things, but with a calendar you can also just ignore that. So not to ignore that stuff. And also just maintain the podcast, and then also for our sister publication, Mortgage Strategy, maintain the podcast on that side and the social media and continue growing, because we've hit some big numbers this year so far. So I'm excited to continue growing that as well. And as a personal resolution, I think I've told you guys this, I don't know. I do want to do High Rocks at the end of the year.
Yeah, you have told me about that.
Which
didn't tell me.
Is crazy and scary every time I think about it, but I think I need to do more things that scare me. Yeah. So I'm doing that.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
And that's another resolution, do more things that scare me.
Yeah.
So
good resolution.
Yeah. Well, awesome. As always, it's been amazing talking to you both. And I look forward to our next podcast in February. But thank you all for joining us, and see you next time.
Thank you.